Nice big wang always helps.
It's unrelenting, it's unrelenting. Just when you thought we were going to relent, it's unrelenting.
How you doing, everybody? It's Unrelenting. Woo!
We're good. How are you?
Good, we're good. Everybody's doing good. It's a beautiful day in the city of Iraq tonight. I hate when it gets warm. It's already 60 degrees, have the windows open. It's almost time for the air conditioning.
Did you say tuna?
Tuna? What did I say? Tuna? Tuna what? Tuna fish?
I don't know. It's something about tuna.
You can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish.
Oh, that's for sure.
It's too warm, man.
So it's 64 here.
Well, wow, we're like right there. We're like 60-degree bros.
Yeah. When did you move south? I'm curious.
We finally moved the homestead, just put it on a truck, moved it more towards the heat source in the middle.
Yeah, you put that packed it all in the station wagon.
Yeah, but that's the one like the Vista Cruiser.
Yeah, with the wood paneling.
Yeah, those were cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
I remember those.
Them's was the days.
Back in the 1970s, turned into the 1980s.
I remember I accidentally pushed the gas pedal on one of those, thinking I was in reverse, pulling out of a parking lot, parking position, and I was in drive apparently, and so I started pulling out, and that thing just jumped right over the curb like it was nothing. Jumped about 1.5 feet in the air, straight up.
At least there wasn't another car right in front of you.
There was a chick right in there standing and scared shitless.
Screaming. You're like, sorry.
Yeah, whoops.
New driver.
I would never listen to Motley Crue again.
Is that what you were doing? You were doing shout at the devil?
Turned the radio on, and then I shifted into drive instead of reverse. I blamed evil rock and roll music.
All the backwards maskings. They were telling you, run over that girl with the station wagon. Run over that girl with the station wagon.
Mm-hmm.
So you almost did.
Almost. Luckily, I didn't, but it was close.
I told you before, man, it was the worst car I ever had to drive was my dad's diesel station wagon.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about the antithesis of cool.
Oh, yeah.
But at least you smell good going down the road.
There was a benefit to diesel back in the 80s and 90s, though.
Yeah.
Because they had a different diesel blend that was mostly generating soot and a little bit of power. And so my mom had a BMW diesel, turbo diesel thing. And occasionally when I would get to borrow it, which was pretty damn rare for some reason.
Like because she heard about you driving forward when you thought you were going in reverse.
Apparently. But occasionally when I get to borrow it, it had a cool feature, almost like a James Bond feature, because, my mom was not a speed demon by any stretch. She just drove it wherever, work, food, whatever, grocery store. And so what would happen is the turbo was almost never engaged in this turbo diesel. And when I was driving it and somebody was, getting a little too close, trying to, in traffic, trying to see if they could pass me or something, I would turn on a special feature, which is to say I floored the pedal through the middle.
And the air comes sucking on in.
Engaged the turbo, which created a lot of pressure in the exhaust, which blew out about 1.5 pounds of soot all at once. And so there would be this black cloud that was about 3 car lengths long and about as dark as a fog night with no full moon that would form right behind my car.
So not only did you get speed, but you got to leave everybody else literally
in the dust, baby. It was a beautiful thing. There's no better fuck you than in the old days being able to just blast a cloud of blackness behind you.
Gene's looking for somebody on a bike.
The video game called what was it called? Spy Hunter, I think. Was it Spy Hunter?
There was a game called Spy Hunter.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. It was one of the features in the game. You were driving a car. And one of the things you could do an oil slick, or you could do a cloud of smoke that would hide you. And my mom's car actually had that.
That's pretty sweet.
So there you go. Starting off with a story time.
So if you were using the turbo on the regular, then you wouldn't get all that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So you couldn't do it like twice in a row. It was an effect that had more to do with just the accumulation of soot inside your exhaust system that never had sufficient enough pressure in the exhaust to blow it out unless the turbo was running.
Yeah, those turbo diesels had a little get up and go.
Now they have a thing in modern diesel cars, because I've got my Grand Cherokee is a turbo diesel as well. I always had an affinity for diesel cars, but it has a urea tank, about a 5-gallon urea tank, in fact, and that urea is spritzed into the outgoing exhaust to basically capture the particulates and clump them up. And then those particulates sit in a, I don't know what the technical term for it is. Basically, it's part of the exhaust system, kind of where the catalytic converter would be on a gasoline powered car. But this is diesel fuel, and it's kind of a holding trap for those particulates. And then what occasionally happens, oh, holy shit, hold on.
Uh-oh, what's going on? Black helicopters?
Something like that, yeah.
Did you have to defib yourself?
No, yeah. The Bears.
The Bears.
Just had another heart attack. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to take up any time.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Let me just press this button. All right, I'm fine. All
right, got myself stabilized to get the old ticker back to normal. So they hold these particulates kind of clumped up in there, and about once every maybe 1,000 miles, maybe 2,000 miles. It's some interval. I've never quite figured out what exactly the interval is, but it may be a different interval every time, because it probably depends on how much soot you're generating. But what it does is about every, let's say, 1,000 miles, maybe longer, I'll get a little message on the info screen that says, "Regeneration in progress. Do not stop." And which, if people are not familiar with this, they would get freaked out, because your car is telling you, "Do not stop."
Right. I mean, you can.
You're like, is there a bomb?
Right. You can stop. We've all watched Speed, and
yeah, exactly.
We know what happens.
What is going on? Why is my car all of a sudden passing me messages from the FBI telling me to not stop?
Yes, do not go under 55.
Your constant speed, right, and do not slow down.
You're like, but there's cars with children in front of me.
I'm leaving the highway. Well, shit.
So
what happens, and the reason it tells you not to stop, is because it alters the fuel-air mixture to be extremely oxygen-rich. And as you probably remember from your basic chemistry, that when you increase the percentage of oxygen in a fire, that fire burns a lot hotter. So it actually burns, it heats up red hot that little container that has all the particulates in it, and essentially burns them at a very high temperature, and they come out the same exhaust that they always do. But it's not a efficient or a particularly good for longevity of the vehicle mode of normal transportation. So you're not constantly driving, burning a very oxygen-rich environment in your fuel mixture. You're only doing it to burn off the particulates out of its collector whenever it gets full. And then after doing that for usually it's about 10, 12 minutes of driving at highway speeds, that it tells you you're okay to now stop.
Self-cleaning, nice.
Yeah, it's self-cleaning. It burns them through, burns them away. And the reason that you don't want to stop while it's doing this is for a couple of reasons. One is you need an RPM higher than idle. But the second one is if you didn't have the airflow through the vehicle while this is happening, the rest of your car would catch on fire.
You're very hot.
It's literally glowing red. Yeah.
And that would be bad.
So or like the asphalt underneath that portion of your exhaust would start melting.
So if you had to make an emergency stop, you're just bursting into flames.
If you had to make an emergency stop, don't park on the wood surface. That would be my advice.
Drive it into the grass in California.
Exactly. If you do end up stopping, the engine will keep going and the fan will keep blowing for about another minute after you stop the engine, which technically doesn't stop the engine. It just lets you, put the car in park and leave.
And run because you're afraid that your car just said, don't stop.
It may blow up. Don't
stop. The punk rock.
Yeah, exactly. If you park on some tannerites, which, sometimes you might, it's not good if the car is in its burn mode.
Yeah, but those diesel engines still safer than these electric engines.
Oh, they're way safer, yeah. Dude, can we do another car story?
Dude, why not? Dude, okay. It's Gene tells a car story. We need to.
You know that dude named Ben is currently traveling, I assume.
Dude named Ben. I know he's traveling all the time. You said he's 3-letter agency.
He kind of traveling all the time.
Yeah.
But while he was traveling domestically, right now he's actually back in the old country, allegedly for work. And the old country, of course, is Scotland.
Oh, Scotland. Different old country for him than
It's funny how there's all these protests happening there right when he gets there, but we'll just leave that alone.
They just popped up 15 minutes after he arrived.
Pop-up protests. I don't know what that means.
Did he have a bunch of signs in his luggage?
He said he brought extra large luggage. For a short trip, I wasn't quite sure what that was all about.
Just trying to cause trouble.
Something's going on, that's for sure. Well, anyway, he was telling me that he got his first ever Chinese rental car. Like, I assume you've never rented a Chinese car.
No, I don't know if I would fit. Do they make them?
I've certainly never rented a Chinese car.
This was in Scotland. They're just like, hey, you want a Chiners?
Yeah. Now, what's your first impression?
Ding dong, ding dong. Is that better than a Ford?
God, you're a racist. What's your first impression when you think of a Chinese car?
I would think small, but that could, I'm understanding they make all sorts of things. Now, if they were making them for the Chinese people, I would guess small and efficient. Perhaps
right. You would think so,
operated,
right? Yeah. Now, this isn't going to go over for people listening, but I'll go ahead and send you a link to that website so you could take a look at this car. But I'll just try to describe it.
Okay.
What?
Kamicars.com.
Kamicars. Yes. Uh-huh.
It's a pretty good brand name, really, if nobody's pulled that one out yet. That
Kamicars?
Yeah, Kamicars.
Yeah, that's I love it. Let me know when you're looking at it.
The BYD it looks like a nice little sports car. It looks small.
It's not.
No, it's like the size of a...
Keep scrolling down. You'll see more, so you can see more of the size of the thing.
Bum, 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 bum.
Yeah. So this car...
looks like a little Lexus.
It looks similar to a Lexus. That's a good call. It's probably an Infiniti or Lexus looking car. Here's some stats on it. 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds. It's actually 0 to 62 because it's 100 kilometers in 3.8 seconds.
And the fun thing is the computer on board goes, Banzai!
That's Japanese, not Chinese.
Again, sorry. I thought we were looking at a Japanese car.
If you, right. That's kind of a good catch because if you keep scrolling, you see the interior shots. And if anybody wants to look, just go to byd.com. And this car is called the, what's the model on this thing? This is a Seal. And all their cars are named for different water critters. So this is a Seal. They've also got dolphins. They've got stallions. They've got an Addo. I don't know what that is. No idea what kind of animal that is. Dolphin's kind of a little smaller car. They've also got a couple of sport utes that look like Porsche Cayenne looking things. This thing looks, if you didn't know it's Chinese, there's no way in hell you would think it's Chinese. You would think that it's either European.
It's very stylish.
Maybe like a Kia, maybe. But it is very nice looking. You look at the interior on this thing. And the interior looks like a souped up Tesla. So it's got not just one, but two large screen displays in there, like two iPads.
Right, so you can watch porn while driving or while the car drives you.
A giant one in the middle and a slightly smaller one in front of you. They're both full LCDs, so everything can change on what you're looking at. But unlike a Tesla, they're not anti-physical buttons. So you've got actually quite a few buttons to press when you're driving this thing. And I was asking Ben on what his impression was, and he thought it drove great. There's certain things he didn't like about it, which is more just grouchy Ben than anything else.
Like the voice that talks to you is only in Chinese and you don't understand what it's saying.
That would not be a problem, man. That would not be. No, he didn't like the fact that the car was reminding him of things.
Stop driving like asshole.
For example, when he was, in Scotland, they drive on the wrong side of the road.
Right.
So the car would automatically grab the steering wheel out of his hands to move him.
Wrong lane, motherfucker!
In the right lane, as Ben was attempting to be in the wrong lane. And then if he didn't have his hands on the...
So he wanted to get into a head-on collision. He was like really pissed that the car wouldn't let him...
I think Ben's been drinking a little bit while he was in Scotland.
Oh, well, it is Scotland.
The car also was telling him to put his hands back on the wheel. And when Ben would just kind of let go of the wheel and start looking around, taking photos of being like a tourist.
You mean jerking off?
And then when he started yawning, the car recommended that he stop for a coffee.
You look tired, asshole. Stop.
So the car... Much like a Tesla also has this. The car has internal cameras,
right,
that assess the state of the driver to determine whether the car needs to take its own evasive action or not. And Ben was not a fan of this. He did not like the car doing things on his behalf or the car telling him what to do. Like, maybe you should stop for a coffee. You appear to be tired.
Yeah, I kind of get that. That's kind of annoying.
I totally don't mind. Dude, the day I can drive my car from the rear seat, I'll be a happy camper.
Geez, like I've just given up. I need all four seats now.
I'm like, I've always enjoyed the back seat. That's never been an issue. But driving the car while sitting in the back, I think would be pretty damn cool.
And by driving, you mean having the car drive you?
Well, duh. I mean, yeah, it's cheaper. Back in the day, when I used to travel a lot, back when I lived in Minnesota, but also when I lived in Dallas, I would be flying either every week or every other week, and in both places, I had a driver in a Lincoln Town Car that would pick me up and drive me and drop me off at the airport. And you get used to sitting in the back seat of one of those things. You can catch up on your email, finish your snacking before your flight.
It's luxurious.
It beats driving yourself to the airport by a mile.
Well, yeah, it beats driving yourself anywhere.
Yeah. You got a friendly black dude up front wearing a cap. I mean, it's what's not to like? It's perfect.
And you said the Chinese voice was racist.
It is racist. Absolutely.
No, it was accurate. I mean, that's what they... yeah. What do you want?
Yeah, it's...
You stupid Mongolians.
It's like that song about I'm a Samurai that I was listening to earlier today. That's about what your Chinese comment was like.
I just want to see if the Mac Whisper transcription will be able to pick up all of the...
Oh, I'm sure.
Crazy voices.
So anyway, the concept of riding around in the back seat while somebody else is doing the driving to where you tell it to go and not bothering you with it is very nice. And I think, if this car was available, it's not obviously available in the US. It's only in the European market and other countries. It? You probably could do a one-off import, but that's such a pain. I've only known one guy that's tried something like that in the past.
Yeah, but then when you're driving around, people are like, hey, what's that?
That's a fancy schmancy looking car. What is that?
And then you get to go explain all about that. It's Chinese.
One of their models In fact, the actual one that Ben has,
I wouldn't mind a
guess
Chinese
what the
model.
driving range on that car is?
On the battery? You mean, is that my driving range?
Total, it's a hybrid. Total driving range.
Oh, it's a hybrid. It would probably be like 1,000 kilometers then.
Yeah. No, it's like 1,600 kilometers. It's 1,000 miles.
Nice.
On one tank of gas. Ben was bitching to me about the fact that he prepaid for a tank of gas. And after 5 days, he's used 1/8 of the tank.
We got him, laddie. We paid for the gas. He didn't know it was a hybrid. He didn't know it's not going to use any gas. But the Yankee paid for the gas.
Is that supposed to be Scottish?
I thought that was pretty good Scottish, actually.
Just think of doing like Fat Bastard if you're going to do Scottish accent.
I don't know who Fat Bastard is.
Fat Bastard is a character on Austin Powers, the movie.
I don't recall.
He's the Scottish guy. He's the guy that Dr. Evil hires to go do something. He's the one that sings, baby back, give me my baby. Because he wants to eat the mini-me.
I think I saw that once.
Have you not watched this movie at all?
I know I've seen it once. I've seen Austin Powers.
Put it on your list of movies to watch.
Shag me, baby. Shagadelic.
That's one of them, yeah. This is the second one I'm referring to.
Oh, maybe I didn't see the second one.
The second one has Heather Graham in it. How have you not seen it?
I don't think I have that, no.
I know you haven't. That's what I'm telling you. Put it on your list, Heather Graham. And she is at her freaking peak in that movie. Like, I don't think she's never been in a bigger movie than that in Hollywood.
And she's never looked better.
And she'll never be in one again now. But she looked very good during that Austin Powers movie. Always felt like she was just underutilized by Hollywood.
She was just waiting for Gene to discover her.
I've discovered her a long time ago, back in Swinger days.
She has not yet discovered Gene,
that did not come across the way I was saying it in my head. Anyway, check out that movie. But yeah, this is a very nice looking, can't at all talk to its obvious quality, but very nice looking Chinese vehicle that if you didn't know what it was, you would think it's got to be either like a something European or maybe a Hyundai, maybe, if you haven't seen one of those in a while, or potentially, I guess, a Lexus. The Lexuses don't look this nice. Honestly, it's got more of a BMW thing than a Lexus thing going on.
And it's intriguing that they're renting them in Scotland.
Well, the one he got had under 100 miles on it.
Okay, so it's brand new, or nobody wants it?
It's brand new, and it's the biggest car you can get at the rental place. It's literally everything else is a little tiny death trap. And I was telling Ben, I was like, well, of course they gave you a brand new one. They want to be able to capture all the data off your phone when you plug it in. They want to get a copy of your phone book. They want to get a copy of all the photos you got on your phone, and they want to record every conversation you have while you're sitting in the car.
Right. They have a live video feed of you driving.
Literally, who do you think is telling you to wake up and stop to get coffee? It's not a fucking computer. It's a dude sitting in Hanoi. Yes. It's like they've got a person assigned to you from China while you're driving that thing around in Europe because they know where you work. So anyway, I thought it was pretty funny. That was and I've never heard of this company before, but I would totally buy one of these things. It looks very nice.
Well, you should. We got to get you one.
Well, I'm all for it. They've got a smaller, sporty version, and then they've got the, like I said, more of the Porsche Cayenne looking model, which is also quite nice looking.
When we were in Ireland, we had a Land Rover. That was fun.
Yeah, that's definitely the biggest car you can rent for sure.
It doesn't fit on half the roads.
No. I had a Peugeot.
Peugeot.
And with a manual transmission, driving around in Ireland on the wrong side of the road.
But at least you had to be more engaged. That might actually be safer.
I enjoyed it. And a lot of the roads there, especially doing the full ring around Ireland.
The ring and Kerry.
Well, not just Kerry, but the whole thing. We drove around the whole country on the edge of the country. Because, it was a big tour of watching all the sheep down there. And, yeah, exactly. So apparently in Scotland, they don't have the sheep. They have the Highland cows. They have those fluffy orange Highland cows. You know what I'm talking about?
Fluffy orange. No, I don't think so. Because I've never been to Scotland. I mean,
right. But I'm surprised you've never seen them. They're very cute looking. They don't look like American cows. They look more like they're Scottish.
They got like a cool little hairdo going on.
They have a lot of hair. They're very fluffy cows. They're the long hair cow. We have longhorn cows here in Texas. In Scotland, they have the long hair cows, and they don't get quite as big. But they are.
Are they angry?
If you no. They're nice tempered. There's a lot of people that get them as like a hobby farm cow. In America, especially in more cooler climates, because they're able to withstand more temperature changes. They're not going to be a good cow for like Texas, too much fur. But they're cows that will have like a what do you call that hairstyle where the girls have with their hair in the front of their eyes?
Bangs.
They're cows with bangs. Exactly.
Okay, now there's some album art that just needs to be
cows with bangs.
Right.
Yeah, I think you ought to be able to do that. That's AI wouldn't struggle at all for cows with bangs. But I don't know. There's a YouTuber that I watch that has these. And
Wait, you watch YouTube?
I believe it or not, I pay for YouTube.
No, what? Since when?
I know, right? Since about 10 years ago, maybe 15 at this point.
A lot of YouTubing.
But they're pretty cute cows. And interestingly, the most common color, you can get them in a variety of colors, but the most common one is a redhead cow.
Which, of course, is what you want, a good ginger cow.
Well, Scotland does have the most gingers of any country, more than even than Ireland.
And you know who's breeding with those cows, you do?
They sure do. The Vikings. That's how you make them. How do you make a Scottish person? You breed one of those cows with a Viking.
Yeah, got to say, laddie, I tell you what you're saying. No, you shouldn't be going.
So, but he's having a good time. He'll be at the ancestral home castle on this trip, which he's never been to before. So I'm looking forward to hearing his stories of how he's treated back home.
They'll be like, who are you?
Demands access to his stately manor.
Right. He's like, this is my ancestral home, you bastards.
Yeah. And they totally should let him in for that, I would think.
You're like, vacate my house. I am here to reclaim it. He probably has a little bit of a, area he can claim.
Now there was a Saturday Night Live skit thing, clip, whatever you want to call it, done. That was for St. Patrick's Day. I don't know if you watched Saturday Night Live for St. Patrick's Day at all.
I do not.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. You're one of them Irish people.
That's right. We are. We had a good Planet Rage right on St. Patty's Day.
Did you? Yeah.
We did. Good.
Well, in that clip, it's a clip of a American at a bar in the old country in Ireland that's telling the bartender how he's very happy to be there, and he doesn't understand why his ancestors ever left because it's so beautiful in Ireland.
It is.
Why would you leave? And then the bartender's like, "What? You don't say." We go, "Hey, everybody, we've got one of our own boys back here, back from the United States." And he rings a bell, and it's a whole thing. And he's like, "Oh, well, tell us what's it like living in America?"
America.
They ask him for what his name is, and of course his name is like
Sean Patrick Seamus O'Neill,
O'Toole or something. Right?
Well, that's a good joke Irish name.
I know.
You're an O'Toole.
Laddie, there's only 2 million people with that last name. We're glad we found you.
How many O'Toole is in the troll room? A lot of O'Tooles, let me tell you.
Mm-hmm. So that's a cute little thing. So I had to send that to Ben. I'm like, get ready for this type of reception.
They are clannish people in Ireland. I've mentioned that before. And again, if it would have happened at one hotel, I would have been like, okay, that was just pure luck. but we were traveling around. I think 5 different hotels. Every one, my buddy had a worse room.
Down.
Because no, you didn't have the right name. And that, the first time that we were at a restaurant waiting for a table.
I remember you telling me that.
It was great because it's like I had no idea what the guy was saying. Darren O'Neill. What? No, Darren O'Neill. No, Darren O'Neill. No, sure.
Darren
O'Neill. That's how I should say it now.
Darren O'Neill. Darren O'Neill.
You're like, what's your name? Darren O'Neill? What? How do you spell that? I don't know. It's just like it's very hard.
Yeah, if you don't ever ask Irish people how you spell things. There's a lot of S's and H's and U's, but you don't pronounce any of them.
Let me teach you the Gaelic. Let me go. I tell you why. You look at some of those names and you're like, I can't even believe those are real names. No, I can't.
Exactly.
They're a strange group of folks. Time. But they're clan. As long as you're one of theirs, you're good. If you're an out-of-towner and you're not, if you got like a French last name, oh God, I don't even know what they would do to you.
No. That's a whole other ball of wax.
So if you want to travel Ireland, change your last name legally to an Irish-sounding last name.
Yeah.
It's well worth doing even for a trip for a week. Just legally change your name.
Well, I think technically you get free beer if you got the right name there.
No, I tell you, there was a lot of beer.
What do you figure the current weather is there in Scotland, where Benny is?
Probably like
in Edinburgh country.
I would guess like 50 degrees and rain all the time.
Yeah, you're exactly right there. That's amazing. 60% humidity with 51 degrees.
That's welcome to Scotland and Ireland. It's that
forecast: Friday, cloudy; Saturday, cloudy; Sunday, cloudy; Monday, cloudy; Tuesday, rain; Wednesday, snow; Thursday, cloudy; Friday, cloudy and rainy.
You wonder why they drink. They're depressed people. They never see the sun.
You know, it's the only place that peat is in such abundance is Scotland. And if you don't know what peat is, it's wet dirt.
But they make the whiskey out of it.
It's wet dirt that is trying to dry itself out for thousands, millions of years, but failing at it every day.
And they make it into scotch.
Yeah, they just make that peat right into scotch.
I still prefer the Irish whiskey.
Thing. I mean, of course you do.
Yeah, I mean, again, I haven't really had a whole lot of experience with scotch, but the ones that I've tried do literally taste like grass. You know, it's like it's your lawn. You're drinking your lawn.
Well, it depends on where it's coming from. There's different flavor profiles. It's I kind of prefer the American stuff to a large extent. Little Pappy Winkle is good, but if I have to drink something, that's why I said, that's why I prefer the American stuff. American whiskey, bourbon.
Yeah, but the Irish is so much easier. You can drink so much more because it's just so light.
Drink so much more.
You can't. It doesn't even feel like you're drinking.
I mean, if we're going to talk about drinking more without feeling it, it's obviously going to be vodka.
Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah. And vodka.
The clean stuff. The clean drink.
The clean stuff. Well, or if it's something mixed in, the most dangerous alcoholic beverage that I've ever encountered and created, although it wasn't all that hard of a concept.
Yeah.
Was mixing some peppermint schnapps with chocolate milk.
Oh, God, you could drink a lot of that.
Yes, it tastes like a Thin Mint cookie. If you've ever had the Girl Scouts Thin Mint cookies, this is 100% a copy of that. You don't taste any alcohol in it whatsoever because the milk just hides it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that was good. Give me another. That was good. Give me another. If you want to get grandma really drunk, make that.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know why you're getting grandma drunk.
Schnapps is just, flavored vodka, basically. With a lower percentage of alcohol. I always was a huge fan of cranberry schnapps because it has no alcohol flavor whatsoever. It's like drinking a kind of a slightly less sweet cranberry juice.
While getting boozed up at the same time.
But it's got like 40 proof. So you're definitely going to feel it when you drink it. And then.
Well, yeah, because that's half of a normal shot.
What is?
40 proof because 80 proof is like your average for most.
Oh, yeah. If you're looking at like a vodka proof
Right.
or a whiskey proof, yeah. So schnapps is about half, but it's still way more than beer or wine.
Well, yeah.
And you're gonna definitely feel it. But I would just get like a nice tumbler glass, a little bit of ice in there, a little bit of cranberry schnapps, and then go get a high score in a video game.
Is that it?
That was my 20s.
Like Gene is sitting there drinking cranberry schnapps in his white
I went through a
tracksuit.
lot of. They don't sell it anymore. I have not found any back when I was drinking. It's been over 5 years since I've had a drink.
It's probably close to that for me as well.
Time is moving on. It has nothing to do with health. It has to do with just being, having nobody to drink with because of COVID. And then once COVID passed, I realized, I don't really miss hangovers.
There's a lot of people listening to this show right now going, wait, both these guys are fucking sober.
I know, it's crazy, right? You never know talking to us.
It doesn't understand.
Mm-mm.
Does not compute. I got a lot of Irish whiskey. I just, haven't. Although, again, I don't believe the arrhythmia is much of a
Expiration date,
problem.
like a good Irish person, you're like, expiration dates are for losers.
They never go bad, especially if they're unopened. Now, if once you open up the whiskey, they can still last for a decade or more. All it's going to do is evaporate a little bit. It's not going to go bad.
No, it'll last a good long time, for sure.
But it was one of those things where they're like, well, with the arrhythmias, alcohol is like the worst thing for you.
I don't know if it's the worst thing for you.
I would think there's a lot of things that could be on that list.
I think there are other things that are plenty bad. Yeah.
Like bacon. I love bacon.
So I've been watching The Pit. Have you been watching The Pit?
No, I'm more afraid of it once you talked about it because I'm not into the.
I highly recommend you watch it.
Medical
because
dramas.
I recently watched a short YouTube video that,
of course,
a nurse did of walking around and picking up materials to do a knee surgery. Because, they have all kinds of things that they're going to charge you thousands of dollars for one-time use of. And all these things are basically in a big warehouse in the part of the hospital where they walk around with a shopping cart and then fill the cart up with all the little doodads, little drainage hoses and knives and saws and everything else they need. And as she's walking around, she says what it is and then talks about what it's used for. And I got about 80% of them correct just from recognition of watching shows like The Pit. Because they use all these things. So you get used to hearing the terms and seeing what they are. And you're like, oh, I know what that does.
Yeah, if you're in the operating room and you hear bone saw, you're like, whoa, this is not good.
Well, if you're in the operating room for like a removal of your gallbladder, that would not be a good thing to hear.
No, had that done. Had it done laparoscopically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Just drill a hole and then insert everything in, do all the work through a TV screen.
Which is amazing, really.
Yeah.
AI will soon be doing all of those.
Mm-hmm.
They will be doing all of those. We had
I don't think you're wrong. I really don't. I think it is going to go that way.
The show's over. This was never supposed to happen.
You don't think people are going to be watching AI doing surgery? That sounds exciting as hell.
Right. Be like, let's see what happens here.
I'd be watching that shit.
Well, we had a few people to thank for today, including
really?
CSB, who came in with his 333, which was 4720, but he wants you to watch his video, Proof That Large Language Models Can Actually Think. And it's on YouTube. You look for AI Arch Wizard.
I don't know if I believe that. That sounds a little fishy.
I agree. Like and subscribe. He's doing the audio himself now, which is very interesting. He's just changing his voice, but he's leaving the way he speaks and the accent, which I would recommend just Anglophile that whole thing more, CSB. But with that said, he was trying to make the case of, well, it does actually think. And he was going through other ideas like, well, if it was just autocomplete, then this would be, if you say Paris is the capital of France? What is the capital of France? Give me only a wrong answer. He's like, well, if it was only autocomplete, it would give Paris. It's like, well, no, that's not really the case. And you have to understand that it is all pattern matching, not thinking. And one example I can give you is I was making a piece of art for the 2-hour folk hour on the Mighty No Agenda stream, which was a blonde riding one of those little trains in a mall. You know, the little...
Oh, shocker.
Right.
I can't believe that you would make that. That's so surprising.
I know. People love... I mean, Ron V., I met him over at the No Agenda meetup, liked our last artwork with the girl in the barbecue.
We got to hear about the meetup.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, hey, where's Larry? Not one, where's Gene? Not one. Nobody mentioned Unrelenting. They mentioned the Rock and Roll Pre-Show. They mentioned Planet Rage.
So that explains it. It's all the northern people.
Even people mentioned Random Thoughts, but not one person said, oh, yeah, I listened to Unrelenting. Although, again, Ron V showed me that artwork. So Ron must listen at least to Unrelenting. But I did the artwork, and I'm like, okay, put her in like a conductor's, hat. And the hat was totally wrong. And I'm like, okay. And I kept trying to fix the hat. And it wouldn't understand what a train conductor's hat looked like. All right, fine. I'm like, fuck it. I don't need the cap. So and this was in Grok, where you can update what you've already done.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I kept telling it then, remove the hat, remove the cap. It would not do it. So I don't know why, but if it was an actual thinking model, if there was any thinking at all behind what this thing was doing, it would have understood, oh, guy wants the cap to go away. Or it would have understood when I'm like, no, a conductor's hat. I mean, everybody can picture what a conductor's hat looks like. It's not a baseball cap. They were giving me more like of a ship captain, naval captain cap. No. So if it was thinking...
And you were asking for a train conductor?
Yes.
Hat?
Yes.
Thing?
Yes. Are you trying to get Grok to give you one? Because it just wouldn't do it in the image. But again, if it was thinking, it would have been able to get by that. And I've run into that on multiple occasions.
Who did the No Agenda cover?
Which one? The one from yesterday?
The lobster one.
Oh, the lobster one was me.
That was very good. What'd you use to do that?
That was ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Asking for a Mad Magazine style.
Interesting. Because the eyeballs are super cute on the lobsters. They actually are looking in different locations and stuff.
And I mean,
that's more detailed than what I would expect is, I guess, my point.
I would agree. And I can tell you what the prompt was, because it was one that did not have anywhere near the level of detail that ended up being in there, which I thought was quite interesting. So here was the image that was created. Let's see.
So of course, I'm leaving a comment on this thing.
Of course.
This looks way too good. Are you sure you didn't cheat and do it by hand?
Right. Square aspect ratio. And you know what? I think I did ask maybe Grok to come up. There was maybe with the prompt itself, but exaggerated Mad Magazine style, satirical cartoon illustration, bold ink lines, crosshatch shading, grotesque character humor, bright comic colors, a troop of anthropomorphic lobsters dressed as U.S. Army soldiers marching in formation across a sandy Middle Eastern desert landscape. The lobsters wear oversized military helmets, tactical vests, backpacks, and boots while carrying rifles in their claws. Some lobsters salute, others shout orders. Their bug-eyed expressions exaggerated and comedic. Dust kicked up a march around their boots. In the background are stylized desert mountains, oil derricks, and a distant city skyline with a sign reading Iran on a map-like hill. On the top of the image in huge, bold comic lettering, No Agenda, directly below it, Curry and Dvorak. The scene is chaotic, absurd, and full of tiny comedic details. Marching crabs, misplaced helmets, military lobster antics, classic satirical war parody tones similar to vintage Mad Magazine humor, expressive faces, dynamic motion lines, and exaggerated anatomy.
What about all the text?
None of that is in the prompt.
Not that we're just here for oil is not in the prompt.
No, which is what I thought was very.
The box that says top secret.
None of that is.
Another thing that says war budget. I mean, it's amazing.
Yes. The details that it came out with without even being prompted for it.
Okay, I'm going to have to agree with CSB. This thing is obviously thinking.
You notice too, I didn't say it was the American Army. I just said lobsters.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And they're all wearing American gear.
And
American
it came up with American, obviously. Yeah. We're just
Mission,
here for
who
democracy.
knows? I mean, it's got like memes on top of memes.
Yes.
That it came up with by itself.
Yes. And then there's the cute, like just little crab sitting right there in the front.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like this is, I thought it was a really nice image.
Really good.
Yeah.
I'm going to repost it to our private group that you're no longer a part of.
Oh, I got to get an invite to that.
Oh, did you want an invite? I'm sorry. I didn't think you were participating.
I was trying. I mean, I was like,
were you? Are you going to try? Because I'm not going to do an invite unless you try.
I mean, I'll be posting memes every day. I'll be posting.
Yeah, if you post like at least shit like this, then I'll have you in there. But
I will.
You're not going to try.
I'll make CSB sad because I'll post topless women in AI, and that's his.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
And he got kicked off of the what's the post. He got kicked off post for posting topless AI.
I see.
POA.st.
Well, they were clearly not trannies.
Right.
That's why. He's
on the wrong instance. He should
that's why.
For only $15 a month, CSB, I will let you be on planetrage.social.
All right, you're in there.
Woo.
There you go.
Back in. I feel like I'm back in the group.
You kind of feel like it, boy.
Yeah, every now and then you get surprised.
One of my absolutely favorite features about Signal is disappearing messages. I think everything should have that. That is absolutely brilliant.
Everything should disappear before anybody can even read it.
Well, that may be pushing it, but yeah. I love the idea that nothing lasts more than a month. So if you missed it, you missed it. Tough shit.
Well, yeah.
And there's no archive. There's no like megs and megs worth of crap that maybe was funny once 5 years ago that like all that's gone. It's the opposite of the internet. That's what I like about it.
Oh yeah, because
like
the internet is forever.
When we're doing our Just Two Good Old Boys podcast on the specific group for that show, it's 1 week. The 1 week timeout.
So wait, you have your show notes back and forth with
yeah, we use that for the show notes. Yep.
And then next week they're gone.
And they're gone the next week. It's like I have to do nothing. There's nothing to clear out. There's no guesses to take. If it's currently still in the show notes, that means we haven't talked about it yet since last show.
Now
this show doesn't use show notes, so it's even easier.
Now here's the interesting thing with that art that you like, because I found the origin for this. I went into a ChatGPT, and they have like their personal GPTs, and there is one called Flux Prompt Pro, which is one to help you come up with Flux image creation prompts. Okay. And I went into that, and this was my prompt to get the prompt that I ended up using. I put in square aspect ratio, Mad Magazine art style, all caps, no agenda, Curry and Dvorak, a troop of lobsters as U.S. soldiers marching on Iran in the Middle East. I put that in, and then it gave me the prompt that I use, which then generated that.
Yeah. And I've done that too. I've used prompt generation to generate prompts, which then can generate music.
Right. It was like you're giving it just the very basic stuff.
Just kind of do something that looks good for me.
And then it's like, give me the details. All right, you add the details in. I'm giving you the broad strokes. You give me the details to make it.
The Fozzie Bear knockoff, the Temu Fozzie Bear image.
I do like that one a lot.
It is awesome. I love it. Waka waka. That's all it's missing is he ought to be saying waka waka.
And that's when the people over at the Muppets come over and go,
yeah.
You got to use. Okay, I'll be using laka laka or something like that.
Dude,
Totally different. Give me a bagel.
Yeah, just put a little Temu logo on the bottom right and you're good to go.
The AI, I don't know why anybody would ever use anything else to create artwork at this point.
I don't know what artwork is unless it's AI created at this point.
Yeah,
I
true.
got out of my photography business just in time. You know that, right?
Yeah, because now
it's all worthless.
Cell phones.
I was making over $100,000 from selling pictures, and that's you can't do that anymore.
No, well, this is it, and I was probably going to come up with just to see if anybody wants.
You were making money making websites of hot pictures.
What was the
no need for it anymore? None of these chicks matter.
No, right. That is the intriguing thing. We've talked about the percentage of women now that are of 18 to 25 that are trying to do the OnlyFans thing. And it's like, yeah, you realize what your expiration date is, to put it as nicely as I can think of a way to put it.
Like 23, but now even less.
Where the AI is never going to age. That character could be around like 300 years from now, still going strong, still making money. They'll be like OnlyFans, that the owners have long died, but the AIs took over and are just like, what is this money we are generating? I don't understand.
Yeah.
But the concept of not needing a model saves so much money. Like I get why Sydney Sweeney's using herself as the model for her lingerie.
Yeah.
But now you could just go, hey, here's the lingerie. I mean, the technology is, it's right in Grok too, if you want it. Elon is so happy with a lot of the stuff Grok is doing.
Have you seen the 3D printed underwear?
No.
Yeah.
But
that's getting to be a thing.
I mean, now you can literally put in, okay, here is the AI model I created. Here is the clothes that I want her to be wearing. And here is a still shot of the studio or, hotel lobby, wherever you want this image to be in. You feed it those images and it's like, boom, I'll just spit it out. It'll be that person in that clothing at that place. It's like, there's no setup for a photo shoot. Are you mad? The AIs are taking over. Oh, yeah.
And I think that's the bit that people didn't really understand, or how do I phrase it? When you hear these kind of doom and gloom AI takeover and humanity is doomed kind of messages, you're thinking of like Terminator, robots with guns shooting at each other. That's not it. There will be no job that humans can do better than the AI, so why would any company hire a human? That's the takeover.
Yeah, and I think that's to a certain extent, you're going to have each job that is eventually just going click, click, click. Oh, it's finally able to do this. A lot of arguments going on about AI music with Waylon Jennings' kid, who I guess just figured out what Suno can do.
That's funny.
And he's like, well, I still hope that real human beings will go into studios and create music and all of that. And that's great.
They won't.
Well, it depends. Now, the only way this is going to happen, I would guess, are bands that are also touring bands who enjoy playing together, because that's where you're going to make your money.
I think that's going to go away. Austin is the live music capital of the nation, allegedly.
Now it's just an AI.
It certainly was when I moved here. Okay. I think that was without a doubt the case, because you couldn't drive without hearing music coming from some bar. Like driving any direction in Austin, you would have music slowly getting louder while another music is slowly getting quieter. And then as you drive, there was constantly music played outdoors. That's not the case. That really got screwed up during COVID and it never fully came back. So I'm not even sure if it is live music capital anymore. Maybe it still is. But here's my prediction. You remember Chuck E. Cheese?
Oh, yeah. That was the
I think we're going to have a renaissance of Chuck E. Cheese style restaurants and even bars and entertainment venues where you're going to have robots made by Elon Musk and other companies that are going to be performing AI created music.
Dude, it's going to be even, forget the AI created music. Where it's going to go first and make a lot of money is there's going to be the Elon robot created Elvis using existing concert footage where you can now go to a club and see live Elvis.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that, no question about it. That's going to be a thing. They tried the hologram thing and people kind of poo-pooed that. They never really worked all that well.
No, the holograms kind of suck. I will tell you that.
But if you can get an animatronic that is able to look and move like a human being, and I think we're almost at that point.
Oh, yeah.
And that you can control that it wouldn't jump and stage dive and kill a bunch of people. It's like,
when I was a kid,
8,000 pounds.
Then those robots looked pretty damn realistic. The big giant rat, that looked pretty big.
True.
And pretty real.
With the self-created, I wonder who wrote those songs for the Chuck E. Cheese characters. Somebody probably made a lot of money because that's a lot of performance rights, nonstop Chuck E. Cheese action.
Yeah.
And
you know, they look kind of scary without the rat skin on top of them. I'm going to send you a picture.
But it's interesting that Shooter Jennings is like, there's two different types of responses he's getting on the AI. One, which I just said he hopes humans still make it. He's like, two, you're just mad now because everyone can make music and your time as a musician in a real studio is running out.
Yep.
Like, yeah, I think that.
It's democratized music greatly. And any time that something that used to be a skill or a trade becomes democratized, there's always a wave of people bitching about it. The same thing happens. Well, shit, dude. The same thing happened when the printing press was invented.
Oh, yeah.
Because, well, people that, can't read and write should have no access to books. That's just wrong. Why would they be allowed to read those things?
Well, yeah, before that, it was all handwritten books, which were very hard to get your hands on.
Well, in Europe, at least, you pretty much had to be in the priesthood.
Yes, to have access to the knowledge.
Like normal people don't have access to books, and even royalty relied on, their priestly class to read shit and write shit for them. It was nobody pre-printing press could imagine that the entirety of the human population would be reading and writing.
And then came the internet.
And that's when people stopped knowing how to write.
Or reading.
Mm-hmm.
Well, once the internet could do video, well, that was kind of the slippery slope down to what we have today.
And to be fair, I don't remember the last actual book that I read because I buy everything in audiobook form. So I'm part of the problem. I'm listening to stuff instead of using my eye sockets.
Well, before I blew my eyes out, I had multiple Kindles and everything was available to be downloaded.
Yeah. And Kindle was very good. And I'm sure you paid for all that stuff.
Oh,
too.
Of course. No piracy at all. No. Because books, oh my God, like a book takes up like less than one of these images or videos that Grok is creating. It's like 8,000 books in space-wise. Before I forget, I wanted to thank Mark Kodra for his 333 twice, which is a non-satanic $6.66 donation. And of course, our buddy in the UK, Scott Codswallop, came in with $2.50.
Nice.
Another big day. Let's see, that's 666, 7, 8, 9, 10. We made like 8 and $11, $12.
Hey, $12. That's
$12 is $12. Yeah. That's why nobody at the meetup was like, hey, what about Gene? Where's Gene? Everybody's like, when's Larry coming in? Want to talk to Larry? Where's Larry? Larry's flying? Awesome. No. We're going to do one this summer, though, where he's going to fly in.
Really? Wow. Well, you must have made enough money to justify doing it again, then. What'd you make?
I made $0.
Oh. Well, then why are you doing it again?
Donation. Well, the next one will be a Planet Rage meetup, so.
So you're going to make money on that?
I'm hoping, yeah.
Did people show up expecting Curry to be there?
No, but there were about 30, 35 people there, so I'm guessing like 33. There was a decent...
That's pretty good, given that you're, broadcasting 5 days a week.
And doing out in the middle of
And that's
nowhere.
literally all you do. And then you got 35 people that came out. That's pretty damn good.
That were close enough, yeah.
I mean, it's not quite like, musician level.
Not yet. No, but if we start doing live if Larry came in, we could probably sell out a live podcast. We should
here's the thing. I'm going to
start a little theater.
Starting with the next, just the good old boys, I'm going to start live streaming on X. Because I've been going to a lot of these live streams on X, and it's really not hard to get that going.
No, we've tried it. Nobody listened.
We did, but
zero.
here's the thing.
Okay.
Here's the
rub. Here's the
two
difference.
things there. One is we tried it 3 times and we had nobody watching. What do you expect?
No, we tried it more than 3. There were.
I don't think we did more than 3, dude. I don't think we did because you had various issues technically, and we'd skip one, then we'd try it again.
No, for both this show and for Planet Rage, we did a bunch of them on X, and it was like the grand total of time listened to of each show was like 3 minutes.
3 minutes? I don't know. Well, you need to obviously have enough people listening, but
yes,
the way it works, and this is part of the thing that works against us, is the way it works is anybody that follows you will see that live stream right at the top if they log into X.
Right.
So doing a show at 10 a.m. isn't ever going to attract a big crowd of people.
I don't think any time is really going to.
I don't know about that. I think there are certain times that are more conducive to that. What I found when I was doing the video game stuff, which I really kind of slowed down and then basically stopped doing once I got over 4,000 subscribers. But the thing that I found was there's enough analytics provided that you can tell that if I started the show at 3 p.m. and then ran for 3 hours, I would have way more people than if I started earlier or if I started it later. Because at 3 p.m., I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I think it was early enough that other people weren't competing with me and streaming the same thing, but late enough that as people on the East Coast show up at home or they're even driving home, they would flip through and find something to watch while they're driving home. And which, little secret is plenty of people are watching shit in the car.
You want to do live so you can get people right in and out. We got,
but we'll try it. So I'll let you know how it goes. I'm going to start just doing it regularly. I don't think it takes any more effort than not doing it. And I've got a little, what I need to decide is whether it's going to be pure audio or if it's going to be audio with video that's not of me or Ben, but it's just video of basically a waveforms whenever we talk. So you can kind of tell, is it Ben talking or me talking? But if it's with video, the useful thing will be to just have a web browser on there being shared of whatever the hell story we're talking about. Now, you and I on this show don't do stories, so it's not really a thing.
It's not.
Although we did look at a Chinese car,
right?
That could have been useful.
True.
Yeah.
It could have popped up.
Or robots doing music. I mean, that's a thing.
And I guess, okay,
So
me, I just need again, I know it's been over a year because I was using OBS, which means that was going to predate the Mac Mini, which is November.
By quite a bit.
Yeah. So March, April.
I think it was about 2 years ago.
A year and a half.
Last time we did it.
A year and a half was when I switched off. Can you believe it's been a year and a half since I've used a Windows machine? Man.
I believe it. But I also don't think we were using it up to when you switched. I think the last time we did it was over 2 years ago.
Now I could use my iPhone or my new iPad as a webcam.
Well, and that's the thing is if it's just doing audio, then you literally, this is literally it. Just one person opens up a whatever the hell they're called the next, the talking space, whatever spaces.
Let's pull up. Well, the spaces are different than the broadcast.
Well, right. But that's what I would do if I wasn't doing the video, as I would just open up a space, have the 2 hosts in there as, the people that can actually manage it, and then everybody else on mute, and then just have that running. And again, the way that you find out that this thing is running is if someone follows you, they'll see it on top on the right side of their screen on X whenever they open up X. So I see that all the time for people that I follow. It's like, oh, they're in this thing. And they don't even need to be, this is where the real multiplication comes from, right? So if you have 0 people in there other than the host, then somebody who follows the host would be the only people that would see it. But as soon as your first person comes in there, anyone that follows that person would also get a notification of this event taking place.
Because you're like, hey, Gene's in this group.
Because you're just in as a listener instead of a speaker, but you're in. And so everyone that follows that person would see a little thing on the right that says, that person's in there. You click on it, then you get 2 people, and then everybody that follows that person. So you can see how when you get like 30 people coming in there, all of a sudden the notification about it pops up on thousands of people.
Well, we should do that too and take calls, man. When people want to give their opinion, take calls. What do you say, caller?
I have no problem with taking calls. I wouldn't count on anyone having questions, though.
Oh, they're like Ned would. He'd be like, hey, what the fuck, what's he talking about, man? It's the movable type printing press, not just the printing press. Which is why...
Which is probably true. Yeah. It's the movable type one is the one that really revolutionized books because you could... I took printing for a whole year, man. I did intaglio.
I took printing.
Which is, in college, I did 3 semesters of printing classes.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I was wasting money. So
now it makes sense. You're like, I got money.
Mm-hmm.
I need to do something, but that was the original name for.
Well, I kind of enjoyed it. It was copper plate printing is what I was doing. Copper plate etched printing. So I could tell the girls, would you like to come up and see my etchings?
And I was
you would. Not kidding about it. That was totally serious. I still have them somewhere, I think.
May I etch you,
I've got to have my etchings somewhere.
Baby, you're really hot. I want to etch you.
Mm-hmm.
It
was fun.
The original name for WordPress, wasn't that moving type? Wasn't that like the original blog?
Type.
Movable type, right?
Yeah.
The internet never forgets.
Yeah.
Ned's like, they used to do it with wood blocks. Darren needs a history lesson. Yeah.
They did. They did it with wood blocks. They also did it with metal.
Heavy metal. But now we have the internet. And when it was text, it was such an interesting concept. Once, not as much audio, but once video hit, everything went downhill. And it's interesting, kids.
Video killed the radio star.
Exactly. But I remember...
Mm-hmm. That was both the first and last song.
Ever played on MTV? The Buggles.
Yep.
And they're still touring, the guy from the Buggles.
They are. I saw the guy. He's like 105.
With Asia. So they're out there with Asia, and they pull them out to do that song, which is still a fun song.
And he had Coke bottle glasses from the get-go.
Uh-huh. It's a good look.
It's totally not a good look.
The radio star.
I think he switched the girls a few times, though.
Probably. Well,
because that doesn't age for 80 years
one would
later.
Do. Gene, for you should be very aware of changing the girls.
Yeah.
Is a way to...
Gotta change them out, baby.
You got to get new ones every now and then. I remember...
Ben tells me there's a lot of redheads that are cute in Scotland.
So I can imagine. That's why they're always redheads for Planet Rage. It became a thing. And somebody actually asked, like, well, why redheads? I'm like, Irish.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that. It's like, do you need more of an explanation? It's different.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just branding. It's like, could we do different every time? Sure. But why? But I remember.
Redheads have a different pain tolerance.
Really? They can take more?
No, less.
So they're way more fun to keep as
they're
slaves.
More sensitive. Incidentally, it takes more, let's just say, drugs to knock them out.
How much chloroform do you need, kids? Well, let us tell you.
About 25% more per body mass.
See, now everything makes sense. Ned
learn something.
Ned ran a BBS back in the day. So that's everything you need to know about this guy.
What years? I ran a BBS too. What years was Ned running?
He said he also used CompuServe on an Apple IIe. I had an Apple IIe.
Yeah, CompuServe was expensive, man. I remember that shit. $9 an hour.
Yeah, I got my parents to get it, and it was very much watching the clock because it's like, you had like your hour a day. If
incidentally, $9 an hour in the early 80s is about $30 an hour right now.
But you're like, but I can look up all of this information.
Maybe even 40.
Does anybody have like
I also had Genie. I remember Genie.
I don't remember Genie.
Yeah, that was just like a CompuServe knockoff.
Now, does anybody still run like a CompuServe thing where you could go in and just go like, what was this like?
I think AOL accounts I'm still seeing. People still have emails from AOL.
Well, I know a lot of people have BBSs now that you can get to via the internet, which is interesting. It's kind of like, you can get through Telnet. You could just Telnet right into them.
Oh, Telnet. Yeah. There's still Gopher sites out there. I have Gopher on my phone.
It's probably a good way to get information back and forth to people because it's basically
nobody monitors it. It's almost like analog these days. If you're actually telnetting or into something, like no one even cares to spy on you,
right?
Because your technology is so ancient that they're like, no, we don't care.
Why are you using that? I don't know. 82 to about 88. Yeah, see, 88. That was when I was
82 to 88.
In high school.
I'm trying to remember. I think I started mine in 86 and I kept it running till 90, 86 to 90.
So you were a little after. Net said once he got his driver's license, he was like, no more BBS. Oh, well, could you have two people on at the same time that talk to each other?
Yeah. I wrote software for it. I actually wrote, I was using World War IV BBS software and I wrote custom extensions for it.
Well, that's when it became interesting.
I made money off it. I had people that were sending me shareware money for my extensions for the bulletin board.
Well, which would make sense because back then it's all you had.
Like literal envelopes
of cash.
Pay cash money and say, thanks for making this, dude.
We want access to. We want access to the special files.
Oh, yeah, I had that too.
But I remember that was the big thing when the local chat rooms started popping up. So basically like IRC, but only running off one computer. And they usually topped out like 8 to 10 was the amount of people that could be in the chat room at any given time. It's very interesting.
Well, it was expensive to run stuff back then. The other thing that we had was like little text-based games for like text, word adventure of going through catacombs and running into bad guys
Zork
and trying to kill them.
Zork 88.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. And also there was a way for different users asynchronously to fight each other and have little battle contests which basically a random number generator that was biased based on what you had, what kind of weapons you had on you, and then you'd fight the NPCs for a while, get some weapons off of the dead NPCs, and then you can challenge an actual human, but they weren't online while this was happening. They were offline, and then you could win against them.
Right, but it's role playing. It's like roll by, turn by turn.
And then you would log in, and it's like, oh, somebody beat you and took your good sword.
You're like,
you were offline. So you had to go and, beat them back and get your gear back from them. It was a lot of fun. The pace of life was slower back in the day.
Yes.
Every day seemed to have a lot more hours to do things than it does today. Today, I wake up,
I watch TikTok,
and I send Darren a message that says, "Where's my damn link?" And then he tells me I'm in the wrong time zone.
Yeah, hour off.
Then I just barely have enough time to cook myself some food, and then I'm doing a show, and then after the show, I'm going to go take a nap.
Oh, that's important.
It's there's no time anymore to do things like there used to be.
The other thing I'm recalling with those local chat-based systems were the limits, which I think you were only allowed to be connected. Maybe it was 15 minutes at a time.
Nah, it's usually an hour. I mean, I guess some boards could have been as short as 15, but most of them were about an hour.
But then they kicked you off and you had to try to get back on because other people were trying to dial in and there were such things as auto dialers. So the computers were just going, busy, automatically until you could get you back in.
Yeah. I remember that feature on the modem software where you could just set it to keep auto dialing until you get in.
Then, of course, there was the setting to just try every number in a particular range and report back if a computer answered or not. That was the one thing that annoyed me with war games was they were using an acoustic coupler modem.
Yeah.
But also doing the auto dialing feature. That's you can't. How is it hanging up the phone?
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that, but you're absolutely right. Yeah, you have to manually hang up the phone between. Yep.
So I'm like, no, that's not realistic because everything else was totally realistic.
I remember I went very fast from a 1200 baud modem to a 1900 baud. I got a telebit modem very early on. Telebit made these high-speed data modems that broke the audio channel, the bandwidth. They utilized the full bandwidth by having 128 separate audio channels to fill the 3K or so of bandwidth that you get from an analog phone line. And so they were able to have much higher speeds, but also much more gradual reductions in speeds if you happen to get on a crappy phone line. Because prior to the Telebit's proprietary system, like the 300, 1200, 2400 baud modems, and eventually 9600 baud modems, if the quality of the line was high enough or low enough, if there's too much interference, too much noise, they would drop down and cut the speed in half every time. You go from 96 to 48, down to 24, down to 12, down to 3. But the Telebit, because it had 128 channels, if you had a perfect line connection, you would have something approaching a 19.2 speed, 19,200 speed connection. But if you didn't have a great line, and let's say the average line, you were actually talking more like around 16 kilobit. And if you had a crappy line, it might drop down to, maybe like 6,000, 7,000 kilobit. But it was still always going to be higher than the standard type modems, which were preceded it. That modem was $600.
Yeah, they were not cheap.
Expensive modem. It was meant for business, but a lot of us enthusiast types got them. It was also the size of a modern laptop. I mean, this thing, or probably not a laptop, probably like if you put 3 iPads, one on top of the other, that's about how big this modem was.
Oh, yeah. And they got hot.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
but they're doing a lot of work. They're doing digital to analog and analog to digital.
Yeah, and I remember we had a few different ones. And at one point, because my dad worked in sales for a carpet company, rather than every time, because he would make all of his calls, and when he would get orders, he would have to call them into the desk. I mean, it was revolutionary when this big machine showed up, monitor and keyboard included, and what were they call those? Like a TX or
a terminal?
Yeah, basically a dumb terminal. So you could then call in and place everything direct. It was like, wow, this is revolutionary. When you look back now at this stuff, you're like, oh, how cute. How cute you could dial into a system and do some text back and forth. But I mean, I remember back with that.
Did he have a Wang terminal?
I don't think that one was a Wang, man. You got a nice big Wang, always helps to get your calls connected. But I remember finding in the folder structure there on the system the username and password file, which were the usernames were not encrypted. And that's back in the day when it was Jack the Ripper or John the Ripper or whatever the software was. And it would just brute force. You could put a password list in. And sure enough, it starts spitting out the passwords. I'm like, ooh, this is fun. I mean, sure, you probably weren't supposed to be doing that, but
Well, yeah, obviously. Yeah.
just like I got my sister in trouble when she was at DePaul because she's a few years older than I was. And once I saw what the login was for the DePaul system, I was going in and fucking around with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, ooh, I guess you're not supposed to. Because then they also had like communication back and forth in a little chat room kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Good times. Now, no, everything is so much less fun. There's no sense of wonder to it. This is the other thing that I worry about with the children of this age, Gene. They just grow up with this, and it's like this is just normal. This is to be expected. Where it's like, no, we're still in awe of the fact that any of this shit works.
I definitely think that Gen Z and younger are a lot less inquisitive than our generation was, and even to some extent the millennial generation. Although the millennials were really the first coddled generation, we were the last of the latchkey generation. But the kids right now, they don't have this concept of go and figure it out. Like, that's not a thing. They, like, to them, figuring it out means asking Google for an answer.
Yeah, it's just, well, yeah, we have to work for it.
It's not like figuring it out completely from scratch. If you were to ask a question or for them to figure something out, and then you turned off the Wi-Fi and jammed the phone signal, I don't think you would have one kid out of 100 be able to figure anything out. They're so dependent on their tie to the internet, which is ubiquitous ever since they grew up.
Right.
That the concept of being able to figure something out without the internet does not compute.
Well, now they're becoming friends with their chatbots.
Well, I don't care about that so much. That's all right.
It's a little weird.
They're literally going to just be dying off without access to the internet. Like, they don't know what to do without having that access. That's the problem. I don't think being friends with a chatbot is all that big a deal.
I think it's part of it. I think it's part of that you are now so reliant upon having this technology, and people just don't.
But how is that different from stuffed toys? I mean, all kids have friends that don't actually exist.
I guess that's true, except
it's just a more sophisticated stuffed toy is all it is.
Except it was rare for the stuffed toy to say, go mix bleach and chlorine.
Maybe in your house it was, not in my house it wasn't.
That's exactly the stuffed toy Gene was given as a kid. I wonder
my
what would happen
toys was talking about all kinds of chemicals back in the day.
He's like, hey, you want to drop some acid, man? Come on, it's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's cool. It's very...
So, I don't know, man. I think that there is a lot to be said for the ability, and we see this incidentally. If you watch shows like, survivalist type shows, like Naked and Afraid, I'm sure you've seen that plenty of times.
I've probably seen a half of one episode, but I did used to see things like, Bear Grylls and whoever the Survivor Man.
Bear Grylls, the fake survivor.
Right, the guy before him, Survivor Man. What was that dude's name?
That was the real guy. The Survivor Man was a real dude from Canada. Bear Grylls was he was in the British Army, SAS for a while. But everybody that worked on his show basically was leaking photos of him staying in hotel rooms while they're shooting these episodes. I mean, he was acting, right?
Right, he was making a show.
That greatly took away, I think, from believability, because certain things like, pissing into a cup and then drinking it, he probably did do on his own.
Well, just for fun.
For fun, because he enjoys doing that mostly. But the fact that he didn't stay in the little campsite that he built out of, down trees and bark, he stayed in the hotel room and then came back the next morning,
bed.
Rubbed some trash on his face to make it look like he's been living in the woods, even though he's taking a shower every day. And then pick up where he left off. That's the problem. The Survivor Man guy was out filming this stuff with 3 cameras with 1 guy.
Right. Oh, that was every time I watch that dude show, and there's some people that do similar things on YouTube, you realize the camera angle of them walking away from the camera for like a half a mile that they have to
and then they have to come back, pick up the camera, and then go do that walk again. Yeah.
Like
that's why
dedication.
it seems like it is, but that's why you also realize how little he did every day. Like, well, today we're going to move from this site to a site that's half a mile down the road. And that's it. You know,
that's a full day.
We're going to catch some food, and he kills 1 squirrel, and that's it. Because the rest of that time is spent on logistics for doing the video shoot.
Right. Made for good TV.
It did. I enjoyed watching that stuff, and I thought that was a very good show. There was another guy that did a show that was more about urban survival that was based around disasters. So, like, we're going to pretend that all the electricity is out, and now he's in the city, and he has to, without using any electricity, he has to figure out how to get clean water, get food, and then do that over a period of 3 days or something. And he'll be drinking out of sewers, pipes and stuff.
It's 1 wood.
As 1 would, right?
If you believe those, just like what do you call those straws? The ones that company
life straws,
right? Yeah. Like, does it really work?
It does. Not as well as they would make you think it does, but it does work. I've got awesome filters, dude, and I've been vindicated on that, and I love that. There's a dude whose name I don't remember that does a comparison test on YouTube for all kinds of stuff. That's all he does. It's like something Garage, I think, is a channel. But he's been doing this for many years where he'll test like the best, caulk. Let's buy all the different brands of caulk, and he's going to test them against each other. He tested all the different super glues against each other. He tested all the different lithium batteries against each other. And incidentally, for that one, the Energizer lithiums are still the best, even after 20 years. But he does all kinds of tests, and he did 2 tests recently where I felt fairly vindicated. One was he did a walkie-talkie or a PRS radio test, and the top brand that he ended up getting was exactly what I had purchased previously to that, which was a Motorola. I can't remember the model number, but it's a Bluetooth-enabled walkie-talkie, so you can use it with your phone and a Bluetooth headset. And if you use it with your phone, you can set up a private group where it will send the GPS location of each member to the other members.
Nice.
And all over the public radio bands. So you don't need a ham radio license like Adam and I have. Because most of you people don't have those.
No, not hamming it up.
No, not hamming it up enough.
You got to take a test.
But this, you do indeed. Which is why I keep renewing it, because I don't ever want to have to take that test again. So it's going to get renewed for the rest of my life, even if I never use it. Which I really haven't been. I don't think my ham radios had batteries charged in years. And then you got guys like Ben that'll buy a ham radio and then never take the certification because he's like, yeah, if shit hits the fan, no one's going to come and arrest me for using it.
Well, this is true.
Well, fair enough. That's a true story, right?
You got it. You're going to wait until the world is coming to an end.
Yeah. But then the other thing he recently tested were the filtration quality of a bunch of different brands of filters.
Oh, dude, I watched this. The water. Yeah.
Yes.
The water pitchers.
Yes. Yep.
And then he cut them all in half. And I'm like, yes.
From like $35 up to $300 or so. And the one that had the best quality for under $100 is the one that I've been using now for many years. And I think it is the best one out there.
And it's like
reasonably priced.
It sounded like an off brand too. So
it's not a major brand. They don't advertise. That's the thing about them. They're one of the bigger brands on Amazon, but they don't advertise in off of Amazon. But they, I've got like 5 of those filter pitchers and other devices from them because they really are that good. It's the only brand that actually comes with a tester device that lets you test the amount of particles in the water.
Means they know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's you don't have to pay hundreds of dollars for super clean water. It's the kind of thing that gets rid of not just the lead out of your water, but it actually gets the fluoride out of your water, which a lot of them don't get fluoride out of water. Like Life Straw will not get the fluoride out of the water.
Well, that was the amazing thing when he started literally making his own polluted water. That was the first thing that told me
you gotta
this
have
guy
consistent polluted water.
It told me this guy was different because in order to create the water with, copper in it, I took ultra distilled water, totally clean, and started with that.
Yep.
And then added this and then ran it through the filter. And it's like interesting.
And by the way, that's something that a lot of people I don't think know, is that if you're going to use one of these filter devices, when you get a brand new one that isn't wet yet, the first thing you want to do is run some distilled water through it, because you want to flush out any kind of manufacturing particulates that you have. So you don't want to drink that first batch of water. And you also don't want to add to any of the, filter clogging and reduce its lifespan. So you really, when shit is not hitting the fan, you want to just take some distilled water and then pour that through maybe like a liter or so. And that should be sufficient to.
Yeah, they always want you to
freshen it up.
Yeah, get the carbon little particles out. And
it's the big carbon ones. The little ones are going to be stuck in there. The big ones are going to be the issue.
See, that's what I do for coffee. I take water out of the refrigerator that's already allegedly gone through the filter.
How often do you change the filter?
Probably about every 6 months.
That's too infrequent. It's got to be more. If you rely on that filter, because it's not a great filter to begin with.
No,
I just would not recommend anyone use their water from the fridge. Unless you live in a really clean water area naturally.
Ours is relatively.
Okay.
Because we get Chicago water, so we get the processed water, but it does travel through some bad pipes at the end. But it's not. Yeah. So I take that and I pour it into a Brita, which I then let the Brita sit overnight so it's nice and cold the next morning, and then I pour that cold water into the coffee pot.
Well, I definitely recommend that you get rid of your Brita, which is mostly junk.
Right. Which I found out watching that. What was the other brand name that you've got?
Don't recall.
Which is why how would you like to recommend that? But the guy's videos out there.
I would have to search to even find that video. So I would look at your past video history, because I know you watch less YouTube than I do.
True.
And then track that guy down. Buy that brand that is the cheap one under $100. The filters are not any more than Brita. I think they're actually a couple of bucks cheaper. But they actually work really well compared to the Brita ones.
You'll know you found the guy if you find the guy with the delivery of, I want to talk really fast, and go to the next thing locked really fast.
He has a very particular style of talking. Everything starts going up and then goes down.
Yes, very fast.
Every last word of his sentence is down.
Uh-huh.
That's his delivery. It's like high, low.
Very little silent
high,
portions in the video at all. He just keeps going.
And it's something Garage, I think, is the website or the channel name, I believe.
But I was actually most impressed with the reverse osmosis system. I was like, now that doesn't seem like a bad idea.
Yeah, of course.
The home distiller, that was a little crazy. 1 gallon a day.
Yeah, 1 gallon a day. The distiller is the gold standard. The reverse osmosis is the silver standard. Everything else is below that. But in his test, there's really no difference between this filter, the replaceable filter device that I have, and the reverse osmosis and the...
Right, the reverse osmosis was just more faster.
I had a whole house reverse osmosis when I lived in Minnesota. And that was awesome, because you knew that water from literally any faucet was pure water quality.
Which is nice.
The problem with reverse osmosis, especially on a house scale, is the amount of wastewater that you have. Because reverse osmosis works on a pressure differential between water passing through a high filtration medium. And so you have a lot of wastewater that's generated from it. But back when water is cheap, so not in the South, up where you live, it should be cheap. Reverse osmosis works quite well. Down in hot climate states, it gets a little pricier to do reverse osmosis. You probably just want to do a filter.
And the guy's channel is Project Farm.
That, just like I said, something garage.
Right, exactly. Farm garage. It's all the same.
Farm garage project. Yeah, Project Farm. That's what it is. Yeah.
He's got 3.81 million subscribers.
Yeah. And it's a one guy channel.
And he has a video. If you go this water purifier video, which popped on March 1st, closing in on 1.3 million views. No wonder he can afford to buy all the stuff, because that's paying, man. That 1.3 million views. Shoot.
Well, he just also did a test of thermal cameras, and the one that I have was on the crappy side of that test.
Nice. You're like, oh
well. I mean, it's all right. All I use it for is cooking. I just use it for cooking camera. You could also use it for taking your temperature. I keep forgetting to. I've been tempted to take some of my high-tech gadgets to my doctor's office when I go in there, just to show them that I'm a lot better at this shit than they are.
Was it the water drop?
Oh, you want me to put a thermometer in my mouth? Are you kidding me? Here, let me just get a thermal image of myself with pinpoint accuracy.
I thought you were going to say I only do that anally.
I mean, I guess you could if you really wanted to. It's the same thermometer.
You're like, mouth, that is nowhere near as accurate as the anal cavity.
You're right.
I know.
The anal cavity is the most accurate temperature that you're going to get.
So, kids, if you really want to know if you have a fever, you got to go up the butt.
The one that is very accurate that I have, it gets the temperature from your inner ear.
Yeah, that I can see would be closer than most. Was it Water Drop? Was Water Drop the brand?
I don't remember. I don't recall. But
there's so many. Zero Water, Mega Home, Dreo.
Oh, it's here. I can probably recognize it. Let me see what it is.
The Amazon. I think the Amazon Basics were actually pretty.
Oh no, it's Zero Water. It's Zero Water.
Is it the Zero Water one?
Yeah. If you go to the end of the video where he does the comparison chart, you'll be able to see that the Zero Water.
It's a 5-stage. Oh, that's right, because this filter is big.
It's a 5-stage filter for $34.
And you look at this filter, and it is freaking. Yeah. Size matters, kids.
Yeah. It's a big filter. But it's got 5 levels of filter. It's scored as well as the $299 distiller or the $270 reverse osmosis.
And they tell you to change the filter when it starts leaving 0.006 or more.
Yeah, which is the level that's a cleaner water than the other brands like Life Straw or Brita or Pure at their best. Right. They do worse than that. Yeah. Don't get the Water Drop. That's literally the worst one of the bunch.
It's no good.
But it's Zero Water. And I found out about them quite a while ago from an RV channel of all things that recommended this Zero Water. Because you got to imagine, if you're living in an RV traveling the country, you're not in control of your water supply.
No, and you want to be able to.
So you want to make sure you can have nice, clean water. Now, I'm still a fan of distilled water. I've drunk nothing but distilled water for 20 years now.
Well, except for this stuff, because you said you're using things too, so you do.
I didn't say I use it. I said I have it.
Okay.
I have 5 of these.
But you don't use it.
2 of them are in the fridges with water, but they're there for emergencies in case I run out of distilled water.
See, they have the nice ones for the fridge too, where you could just then dispense right out of the.
Yep, that's what I got.
Don't even have to remove
those in the fridge, and I've got other larger sizes for more shit hits the fan scenarios. Yeah. And some extra filters, of course, for all of them.
This is
but I also have over 100 gallons of distilled water at any given time. So
100 gallons. You could bathe in it.
Well, yeah, obviously.
You're like, you don't bathe in tap water, do you?
My God, are you kidding?
You wind up
You let that
dirtier
stuff
than you
touch
went
your
in
skin?
with. Be way
You
too-
want other people's feces on your skin? Is that what you want?
Oh, yeah, that's great. It's like jumping into a creek.
I mean, you're Irish, so you could probably bathe in whiskey.
Ah, see, that's not a bad way to go, laddie.
Mm-hmm.
Get a little bit of the Tullamore Dew, pour it into the tub.
Only problem with bathing in alcohol is it dries out your skin.
Yeah, it
doesn't
burns.
It shouldn't.
It burns.
If it burns, you got open wounds, man. It should not hurt at all to put alcohol on normal skin.
That burns.
Yeah. Don't put it in your eyes or up your ass or anything.
Yeah,
But
you don't want to.
other than that, your skin touching alcohol shouldn't really burn.
The old zero water. Okay, I'll put that on the.
Yeah, pick that up. It's a good brand. But I've never seen zero water advertised anywhere.
No, I'm with you. And I was amazed when they showed all the filters, being very used to the Brita ones and other similar ones, that the filters are the size of smaller than a can of soda.
Right.
Where this thing is like a tall boy beer, bigger than that, wider.
It's just a 12-ounce soda is how big it actually is in real life.
Which is way bigger than the other.
It's certainly bigger than the Brita, yeah.
It just works.
For sure. But it also is a pretty good flow rate. So it's, I think here it says 2.5 minutes for 2 cups of water. So about a cup of water in every 40 seconds.
Which, if you're in a rush, okay, no. But again, if you're pouring it in for the next day. But it's got a container.
I mean, the way you use it is you pour like a liter into it, and then it drains that whole liter down into the lower half. So you've got enough available in the fridge at any given time. Anytime you take some out, you theoretically should add some more in.
You got a 12-cup ready to pour pitcher. You can buy replacement filters.
But this channel is just a good YouTube channel because he tests all kinds of gadgets. And in fact, here we go. Here's one. So right before the water, he tested air purifiers, and I just bought his top-winning air purifier.
Okay, which one was the best?
Didn't need it, but I bought it because he tested it, and it turned out pretty good.
I like that these bigger pitchers have the TDS built right into the test thing, so you can just find out what the inside is. But which air purifier was?
So the one I got was the Winix.
Dude, those are like cheap. I've been getting those for years.
$180 is number one rated of all the air purifiers he's got.
That's interesting because that's what we've had for years. And then I bought the Bissell ones, which I don't think are as good.
No, they're not.
Now,
the Dyson one at $1,200 is pretty good.
Well, yeah, because it's $1,200. It better be decent.
It's the quietest one of all of them as well. But the Winix actually clears the room better than Dyson, and it's only $180.
What do you get them on sale all the time on?
So got that because he recommended it. I got the WD-40 that he recommended. He just did an air fryer test recently.
For everybody listening, the Winix 5510 air purifier.
Yep, that's the one I got.
Currently limited time deal $135.99.
That's less than I paid for. Yeah, I think I paid $180 for it.
Yeah, it says $179.99 is the is list.
Yeah,
it's at $135.99, and I'd like you to
Son
know,
of a bitch,
if you're living in an area like I am, ComEd will give you rebates on those, which is, I think, crazy because they're just making me want to use more power.
Yeah,
but as long as it's the Energy Star certified, which those are, you get $50 back if you got ComEd. So you could go buy that for $140, $135, and then ComEd will give you $50 for each one, up to 6. So if you really want a bargain, make sure you get your rebates from.
That's crazy.
Now
I also got I got a Blue Eddy Blue Eddy battery quote generator. It's not a generator. It's a big battery basically. He did a test on those back about a month ago, and I already had one of those that was very high scoring in his test. I don't think it was a top one, but it was close to. He did a drill test. He's done a whole bunch of different tests.
I got to get over his voice and just go and watch more.
Goofy. He's an engineer, dude. He's,
But I knew the guy knew he was different than most when he cut all of the water filters in half to show you what was actually inside them.
Yeah.
Which I thought was genius, because that's really what you're paying for. That's, what the water is going through.
Mm-hmm.
And for some of them, it's like, oh yeah, there's nothing in there.
Yeah, there's not much. Like the Life Straw doesn't have a filter. The Life Straw uses a different process. It's basically a capillary action. So all it has is a bunch of super thin filaments. And the idea is the space between the filaments is so tiny that most particulates will not go through because they're too big. And it's using capillary action to pull through the water from the dirty side to the clean side. So it works. It's just not going to take anything out that's chemical. Not going to take any ions out. It's not going to take out anything that's not a particulate. But it will make your water a little cleaner, just not taste any better.
Yeah, which is a big part of that, I would think.
Yeah. Whereas this thing, like I said, it'll literally take out fluorine from fluorinated water, if that's a concern.
Well, now they've got to deal with Culligan, so maybe they will start advertising that.
Maybe, yeah. They might have back when I bought it, there was no Culligan name associated with it.
It's like, because this is good stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
23 cup dispenser. Woo. $35. That's probably, you paid 28 or something for the Brita pitcher, which is small.
Yeah. Which this is way better than that. Yeah.
You learn more.
But yeah, he's tested a whole bunch. He's tested backpacks, drills, batteries.
Well, I'm curious about the air purifier one, just to see he didn't have any of the old fashioned, like the sharper image that we always talk about that throws all the ozone out, right? Are those still made?
Oh, I had that. Yeah, absolutely.
Can you still buy those though? Or is that, because they went,
two things.
Danger.
One is ozone has been classified as a carcinogen.
Right. You're going to die.
So that makes it more difficult to obtain. Even like I really had to look hard to find air purifiers that had ozone. There's fewer and fewer of them available. It used to be in almost every one. In fact, there's one I bought that just had a little blue light to simulate ozone. And I wrote a nasty review to them. The Chinese company reached out to me. They're like, can you take that off? I was like, guys, I took it apart. I cut it in half. There's no ozone generator in here.
What you mean?
And they're like, okay, we'll give you a refund.
Blue light. You got blue light.
Exactly. So they literally just had a blue LED in there. So they gave me my money back, which then deleted my review off Amazon, obviously.
So that was it. If you take your review down, sir.
Yeah, take your review and go home.
And then we'll give you your money back.
But you can buy, and this is not medical advice, you can buy commercial ionization machines, which I bought one of those. Now, this is used for killing everything in an enclosed space.
Well, like hospital rooms and...
Yep, hospital rooms, a house where somebody died, an infestation of all kinds of critters in a home. It will literally kill absolutely everything, including humans.
Woo!
And so, now you've got to remember, I live in a high carbon dioxide atmosphere, been doing that for 20 plus years. And if you have a combination of high carbon dioxide and high ozone in the air, you simulate the environment that was on planet Earth in its greatest epoch, which is the Cretaceous period. This is basically what the composition of air was on the Earth back then. That's back when we had dragonflies that were 3 feet wide. when we had
We don't have those anymore.
we had centipedes that were 8 feet long and weighed over 100 pounds. No, we don't have dragonflies that have 3-foot wingspans anymore, unfortunately. I wish we did.
It'd be cool.
It would be very cool. So the only issue with using this device is, of course, nothing that you want to keep alive can be in the house. And I've got a couple of snakes that makes it a little harder to use this. So I have to pack up the snakes, put them in the car, and then turn this on and leave the house within 5 minutes. And then it's got a timer, which will turn off automatically after a couple of hours. And then everything else in the house should be dead. And boy, does it smell good when you come back.
Oh, I can imagine. Now, do you need to open the windows or something, or it just dissipates after X amount of time?
No, it reacts. That's how it kills everything. It just reacts with everything. It's extremely reactive. So all your plastic will become super brittle. Any kind of organic material will just oxidize completely. Anything metal that you have sitting out will have a layer of rust on it.
Nice.
It's an awesome device, I'm telling you. And if you could do it without the person knowing that you have it turned on, that's the best. Not medical advice. So,
advice on how to commit murder.
One of these devices is about a square foot that I bought. It's actually not that. It's not a foot tall. It's about 6 inches tall, but about a foot square. And it will treat a house of 4,000 square feet.
That's pretty impressive for a small device.
It's really good, yeah. And it's just going to start pumping the stuff up. And the smell, which I like, a lot of people may not like it, but I like, it's the smell of a lightning strike. If you've ever been close to a lightning strike, you know exactly what that smell smells like.
Now, how much ozone did those old sharper image things put out as opposed to what?
Well, a lot less than this, obviously.
Well, I would hope so, because you don't want to be dead.
But you could still smell them. Like those sharper image ones, I remember if you stick your nose close to where the ozone generator, you could smell a very distinct ozone smell. I think the sharper image ones had to have been UL certified, so they would have been even less than what you have in hospitals. And if you go to a hospital, usually by the door, there'll be an ozone generator and you can smell it as you're walking by. Because they want to kind of have that little barrier around doors to prevent air from floating around.
According to Brave's AI, the device released approximately 2.2 milligrams of ozone per hour, which is comparable to constantly running a photocopier.
There you go. Oh, yeah. That's a good point. A commercial photocopier like at Kinko's always smells like ozone as well. Mm-hmm. Small laser printers usually don't.
The company settled a class action lawsuit in 2021 over misleading claims about effectiveness.
Huh.
But
you mean it doesn't make you healthy? It makes you dead? Really? Oh, shit.
I was just always intrigued of the little metal rods that got covered with gunk, and then you had to take them out and wash them off.
I love that system because it had no disposable filters. It was just, you wash them down with water. All the gunk just flows right off of there. You put it right back in.
And it was
for years. I had that until it broke.
I did too. We used to have it in the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
The intriguing thing was, even though now I know the Dyson devices actually have a fan in the base.
Yeah, I know. They cheat.
These ozone devices,
nothing.
You could feel air going through them.
Yep.
But there was no fan blade at all. And it was very being younger when we had when these things were out, it was like, how the hell does that do that?
Magic. Yeah, it had I think they were called the ion flow or something like that.
Right. It's like, I don't know how that works. It's positive and negative turning on and off.
That's
and it's
exactly what it is. You got negatively charged plates and that are ripping off electrons, and they're pushing away the positively charged air particles to flow away, and all the particulates in the air would stick to the negative charged plates that were on these things.
We had those, and we had BBS's kids.
It was much better.
We could
When we were
freak
kids.
around with Sprint and MCI cards and call long distance, and somebody else would get charged. It was harder to track people back in those days, I guess.
Oh yeah, this is where I think the concept of like aliases came from, because on BBSs nobody used their names.
No, you'd be crazy too.
Yeah. But also it was almost impossible to figure out what somebody's name was because it was super anonymous. Like here's the irony, right? There was very little means of tracking you, but we had this thing called the white pages, which literally listed everyone's name, address, and phone number publicly to everybody else.
Well, yeah, if you wanted to find somebody, how else were you going to find them?
Right now, you literally will get charged with a crime for doxing somebody if you publish somebody's name, phone number, and address. It's insane. And it's like that's something that a private citizen can do, and you will get charged criminally, where in the past everybody just had access to that kind of data. But the government now has way more data on you than it used to back in the 80s. So it's kind of funny how that works.
It was a lot more fun back in the day.
Well, that too, yeah.
But not now, no.
But, the kids now, they don't have the experiences that we do, but they get to have something different that may equally be as exciting, which is watching the AI take over civilization and eliminate humanity.
Right. No, you are no longer needed, but AI will talk to you. Well, you don't have a job.
Well,
and you
they
cannot
may
buy
or may
food.
not. I mean, for now, they'll talk to you, but we'll see. One of the latest stats that I saw this morning said that the project AI traffic on the internet is projected to surpass human traffic next year. Think about that.
I can see that because I was doing some light research. The wife and I might actually go on vacation this year. It's been a few years.
Yeah.
And I wanted some information, and I was using Perplexity's
Of course you were.
browser because it lets the browser go and act as a human.
Mm-hmm.
And it was amazing to me, just very War Games-esque, I thought, when you type in what you want it to do, and it starts going. So I was like, okay, what's a, Disney vacation and stuff now? Which, yeah,
$18 million.
Close, very close. But it was very interesting to watch the AI open up the main Disney page, figure out where the accommodations are, figure out different date ranges, figure out adding the food, figuring out adding the parks and all of this. But it was doing it in the way that a human would, because it was just pulling up the pages, reading them, and then entering the information.
Right. It wasn't using data already in its data set. It was actually doing the research.
Right.
And that's how, because, you ask a browser a question, you'll see whichever browser or whichever AI you're using, you're going to see it listing like 30, 40, 80, 200 websites that are just read in a matter of seconds. It's going and pulling that data in real time when you ask it at a pace much faster than you could possibly do it yourself. So it's really no surprise that AI traffic is going to surpass human traffic. And we've always known that roughly 65% of human traffic is porn.
Right. Hey, the AI is addicted to porn.
I'm just wondering how many people are using their AI for getting porn right now?
You have to really be specific about what you want, and then the AI will track it down for you.
But AI can generate the porn, not just find it.
That's true. Like,
and some people would say that is a much healthier, less risky, better for society form of porn is one that doesn't involve any humans in creating it.
Of course. That whole industry just falls away. Now it is just imagination.
Also, 1 in 4 women under the age of 30 in the United States have an OnlyFans page.
Right. They're going to be broke.
They're already broke. They're going to be brokered.
Really, the interesting thing there is, yes, we've talked about the percentage that have the OnlyFans page.
Yeah. It's a huge percentage.
But now tell me the percentage of those that are making over $100,000 a year, and it's probably what, under 1%?
Tiny. It's way under 1%. Yeah.
So
the average person on OnlyFans is making less than $1,000 a year, not a month, a year. You got to be in the top 10% to be making over $1,000 a month.
Let's see if Brave knows.
The number of people that are making over $1 million a month is only the hottest chicks in the country, basically.
The current stats are 4.63 million people on OnlyFans.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, like 1 out of 4 or 1 out of 5 women in the U.S. under the age of 20 or under the age of 30.
Fans spent $7.22 billion on OnlyFans in 2024.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The average creator earns $131 a month after the platform fees.
What did I say? $1,000 a year.
That's the average. And the top 1% earn $49,000 or more annually.
Yep. Yeah. About $4,000 a month.
$49,000. It's like, that's not even
it's under minimum wage.
Yeah, it's not gonna make you rich, kids.
No, but they spend all day in bed in front of a camera. They don't leave the house. They order in food. They play video games.
But is it, is this like a mental issue that people think they're going to be able to make that kind of money?
Yeah. Yeah. Because people don't think rationally. It's literally the exact same mental gymnastics that bring people to Hollywood thinking that they're the 21-year-old that just came from Iowa to Hollywood that's going to make it big and become a star. Like, yes, that happens to one person every year. One.
Out of millions.
Out of the thousands and thousands and thousands of people that come in to try it. Most of them will just end up glorified waitresses.
And bitter. Very bitter.
Worse. Well, that's true of most women. But
it's also why 99.9% of podcasts die before 3 episodes, because people are like, what? Nobody's listening?
Yeah, if I listened to you bitching about how few people listen to this show, we wouldn't have never gotten past episode 3.
It's like, why is nobody listening? Why is nobody paying? Because again,
I just talked to Ben for an hour last night on the phone, and about 45 minutes into it, he's like, we should have been recording.
And you're like,
I'm like, dude, I said, did you want to do a podcast or did you want to just chat? And he's like, well, blah, blah, blah.
You're like, go check with your Chinese car. It probably has the audio.
Check exactly. Maybe your Chinese car recorded this episode and we can get a copy.
That'd be good.
That's actually a great title.
Like Chinese car?
Maybe your Chinese car recorded the podcast.
Yeah, it probably did for your convenience.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm okay with that. I'm like, if you don't want to say something that you don't want repeated, then just keep your mouth shut.
Don't say it while driving in a Chinese car in Scotland.
No. And he is fully aware of that. He's like, yeah, I'm not doing any phone calls in this car with work stuff. They don't need to hear that.
He just wants to go out where the sheep are and in the middle of a field.
The Highland cattle.
Yes.
Not the sheep.
Yes. When we were in Ireland, I was
the orange cows.
In pretty much every major city, there was unsecured Wi-Fi. It wasn't even like you had to rent it.
Mm-hmm.
It was great because that's how I made calls back home. Like, okay, found Wi-Fi. It's used on Skype. Oh, yeah, back in the good old days.
I was going to say, that's what I remember doing as well, as from Europe, is using Skype. And then back about the time that I moved to Austin, it was, in fact, I think it was that year, I got a satellite phone. And then every trip after that I was doing to Europe or wherever other places that I don't want to talk about, I had a satellite phone I could use, so it really didn't matter. And I kept it for a long time because of this too. I had a grandfathered plan with unlimited time.
Oh,
I literally could have used my satellite phone for less money than my regular cell phone back in the day because there was literally no limit on it. The problem was that it's more clunky and the voice quality is worse on the satellite phone than on a cell phone. And you got a little more delay because it's literally bouncing from here to satellite to another satellite, then down to their central data center, and then from there being routed to wherever it's going.
Well, that earlier I was starting that story of remembering the first ever trying to make a phone call over the internet, and latency was the problem. It was like, hello?
Yeah.
4 minutes later, the other, what? Oh, yeah. No, this isn't ready for audio. How do we even do this now? I want to know.
Dude, my latency in doing a call with Ben to Scotland was under 100 milliseconds.
Well, before we disconnect here, let me find out what we are right now. It'll tell you.
That's a good question.
What is, okay, everybody in the troll room, it's a game show. It's the hottest thing going on. What is our latency?
I'd say around 47.
Brand new, brought to you by Gene and Darren's right now round trip 47 milliseconds.
Wow, it's
54.
amazing.
Yeah, that's half. Wait, so if we go by distance, you're telling me from Austin to Chicago is 47, and then only another 47 from here to Scotland? Are you sure he was telling you where he really was?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I've got a GPS track, and I mean, I think that's where he was.
It's unreal.